Next day, we went off to Abraka. So I'm just going to start off with the positives of Abraka Turf and Country Club. Just from the gate itself, this place is beautiful. The grounds are so well kept, so well maintained. Everything is in near pristine condition. Like, you can tell they put in so much work and effort to keep that space well maintained. So massive kudos to them. Customer service itself, the lady was very polite. She was to the point. She wasn't trying to cross any lines. She was very polite all through it all. Even in giving us bad news, she maintained her politeness and was kind. And she did try quite a bit to help us out when we asked some questions. And then we stayed in a cottage-style space. So they have rooms you can rent. They have 2 bedrooms you can rent. Just different styles of accommodations, but we got a cottage style instead for 6 of us, and there's 3 bedrooms in there. On walking into that space, I'm just like, okay, it's a very old school Spanish style of like construction, and it seems like it's a bit old, a bit dated, but still very well maintained. The bathrooms on a whole different level look like they have just been updated because the bathtubs were just beautiful. We didn't have the time to use them, but then if we had more time there, I would have definitely used that bathtub. The showers, water pressure, perfect. The water from the tap, they're all quite drinkable. Like, we drank the water for breakfast the next day and it was very clean. It was a nice, refreshing experience to have in Nigeria. The resort is also on the Ethiop River, or River Ethiop, and you have to walk quite a bit to get there. I'm sweating everywhere. It's like, that walk was scary. But then once you get there, I love how so clean that water is. Like, the river is so clean. You can go, swimming in there for a bit. I will recommend that for those who are not strong swimmers, don't go beyond this sandy area because currents really can just take you where you don't want to go to. One more thing to point out, the food there is actually really, really good. We had dinner there and I was quite impressed that they made a pounded yam, not pounded yam. I had banga soup with starch, and that was a very interesting texture, but then it was for the experience. But yeah, the food was really good. I love the restaurants and the ambiance in that space. And before dinner, we actually spent some time on the grass in front of our cottage, and we just laid down and just relaxed for a bit. And it was just the serenity and the quietness of the space that you just can't get in most parts of Nigeria, or more so really in Lagos. And so it was nice to just watch the horses just run by while laying down, having some wine and just hanging out with friends. Yeah, love this space, and I would definitely go back. And let's get into the negatives of Abraka Turf and Country Club. Whew. So first, then the easier ones were there was no intercom in the cottage we stayed at, and that was a bit annoying because we couldn't easily reach them for information, and the self-service in that neighborhood wasn't great. So some things we would ask for, and you had to take a bit to get through to them or to get a response back from them once they would go confirm if it was a yay or nay or was it allowed. It was just like a back and forth delay because there was no intercom to easily access the staff on the grounds. Another thing was within the cottage, they had no microwave there, and they've got a massive kitchen. The cooker didn't work, no microwave there. So we had planned for a breakfast then for our last morning there, and we had to scrap that idea because there was no point. You couldn't cook it. And then we had some food left over from dinner, and we couldn't get it warmed up because there was no microwave. But then the bigger issues for me were the fact that we couldn't, the access to the river was very, very dangerous, in my opinion. It was about 45 minutes walk to the river, but it could have been less if we spent less time having to walk really carefully on the wooden walkway bridge or path to the river itself. And I was sweating bullets. I was afraid that I would fall through the cracks or the wood would just like crack up and just break on us, because they were a bit rotted in some parts, and it was about three or four planks that led for each bridge walkway. And so it could be that maybe like 3 out of 4 are pretty much not good. So you have to like walk steadily on just one plank and not like fall into the swampy parts of the that was beneath the river itself, beneath the bridge. But then it was a very scary experience to pretty much be a part of.
I'm sweating everywhere. It's like that walk was scary.
And I wish they could just resolve that by maybe having the walkway wider. And I feel like if they did have the path to the river a lot more accessible, so let's say it was a wider access path, and they do have golf carts, so maybe the folks who don't want to walk all the way, who may want to go to the river, but it's quite far, if they had a path that allows for a golf cart to take the guests to the river, maybe they will have a lot more action happening there and have it be a bit more busy in that area. If they had, because they do have kayaks and canoes, so maybe if they have like a storage space around that river area where you can easily get a kayak out to go like explore and see what the river has to offer. All of those little things, maybe it would allow for that space to be a lot more will be a bit more viable and actually pull in more guests who want to actually experience River Ethiopia in a more serene and quiet and neighborhood, I reckon. And so that was a bit of a problem for me. And then we then get into the biggest issue we all experience while we're there. The nickel and dime culture they do have there. And so for those who don't know what nickel and dime is, it's just pretty much when you charge extra for like things that you shouldn't charge for, like the small things. So let's say you want to go to Chicken Republic, where you buy the refill max meal, then you pay fee for takeaway pack, you pay for fork and knife, you pay for the napkin, or you want more napkin, you must pay for it. With this resort or the country club, really, everything was nickel and dime. And just imagine like you're having to pay for napkin. That was how it was over there, where it's not a cheap place to stay at, first of all. So even to order food, the food that is not cheap, you're buying banga soup in the East. You're buying banga soup and getting palayam or start with it. You're paying about 5K for that place. Average, minimum, about 5K, 4K minimum for a food there, for a meal there. And so you're paying 1K for a bottle of beer there, not even big bottle, small bottle of Heineken or Star is like 1K. So you're not paying the village pricing for the food there. And we're in the village area, but then you're paying like Lagos, like VI and Ikoyi and Lekki pricing for the food there. So I would expect that there would be a bit more kinder towards us and services they were offering towards us. To us. And so everything was extra fee. You wanted to use the tennis courts, you pay for it. You want to use their squash court, you pay for it. You want to all their sports facilities, but the pool, you pay extra for it. I don't know anywhere in the world I've ever been to that has you pay to use a gym and the location. And that was how it felt like at this place, where for everything you wanted to do, you had to pay a fee for it. And so it became very annoying. And then the worst thing was on the last day then, we asked for a late checkout. Sorry, you pay half the room fee if you want to leave the hotel and your cottage later than 12 o'clock. So think about 2 p.m. said, no, you must pay half the room fee to stay that long. And no wahala, but they were kind enough to say, oh, but you are allowed, like we'll let you guys stay here till 2 o'clock, in our common grounds area. Don't go to XYZ, You can only just hang out in the bar area and maybe drink there, but then that's pretty much your restrict. Don't go beyond that. You just maintain yourself, your house, that kind of thing. So, okay. So we checked out, went to the bar, got some drinks. I'd ordered for food earlier on that day. 2 hours later, I found out that what I ordered for wasn't available. So we then asked for plantain and fries and eggs for all of us to just eat before we head out to our next destination. So we ordered for food past 12. And at 1:30, she came back saying that, oh, the chef can't make breakfast-ish food for you at this time. And we're like, okay, what can we order instead? Oh, it is almost 2 o'clock. We can't allow you to order food at this time also because it's already too late. And we don't want you to risk eating past 2 p.m. But if you do want to eat here, you may pay 7K per head to eat on our grounds. Whew. And we're like, you know what, they don't do. It's okay. So we were all still drinking because I just gotten some beer. We were, in my opinion, really good guests. But then they were very, very anal about everything. I must pay for every extra thing. You pay for corkage fee to bring drink on the ground. So in a case where we got a cottage, and I would expect that maybe if you bring drinks to the restaurant or to the bar area, you pay a fee for that. That's standard. But in your room, in the cottage, they wanted us to pay a fee for that too. I'm just like, waiting. Do you have to always charge for every single thing? Because overall, if I was my family, and maybe I have kids, I would have checked out to say, so to go and do it to my kids, we cannot do it. We're here for 1 week, and we're paying this much per night to stay here, and we cannot even do this extra. We don't do it. It's okay, thank you. You're welcome. I beg, where is the next hotel around here that will offer us the same things and won't pay an extra fee for every small thing we want to do here? So I found that to be quite bothersome, and I just wish they could check and fix themselves there. And I would hope that because I noticed that the owner of the space pretty much is hands-on in handling the space, and maybe it's not in his wheelhouse to handle a hospitality-esque kind of space. So maybe if they hire out that role and just hire somebody who's experienced in handling resort-like spaces, because I really do think there is so much potential at this country club. And I feel like if they did a lot more just service-wise and offerings, they will be busy frequently. And I just wish they could just simply fix that, because if they did, I know I would still go back there because I love how clean, how quiet, how serene that space is. And I wish we had more like that in Nigeria. But hey guys, if you do know other spots in Nigeria that has the same kind of vibe, but has the customer service to match it, and the offerings, the add-ons, complimentary access to match everything, please let me know. And I would love to go check that out, because I was disappointed in the fact that they have such a promising, such a beautiful space that just simply kept on blocking its own glory. They were blocking their own glory at every time. I'm just like, why? Y'all have it so good. Why are you guys doing this stuff? That's pretty much it. So yeah, that's it for today. And let me know what you think. Would you go there? Would you spend... I'll check and put the price on their website really for the cottage, for you guys kind of get an idea on if it'll be worth you all going to go check it out. Let me know if you will go check it out, knowing what you know right now. But I do hope that they will fix the service issues, because once they fix that issue and that walkway path to the river and a few other things, they'll be doing so well. So I just wish better for them, and I want better for Nigeria really. So ciao and see y'all later. Peace.